This might be one of my first walk and talks without snow on the ground, at least in a while. You could tell spring is right around the corner. Because it's like in the 50s this morning. I don't know, it's a little after 6:30. Yet it's like 95% humidity. I thought about waiting a little bit longer so it'd be a little lighter out. I figured it would be super busy at this part of the park. And the lighting will be quite nice. I also felt it was humid enough to probably get away with wearing shorts. Also might be a good time of the day to get a shot of the reflections in the now unfrozen lake. I mentioned it was Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday morning, and I brought my camera with me today. I think partly just to get back into the habit. It's been a week or two since I've been walking. I do have another video set up. I went up to 96th Street to look at the Alexei Navalny Memorial and then walked down to like the 60s. It's just a long walk. The nice thing is that I actually took the subway up to 96th and recorded it. I haven't looked at the footage yet, even though it's been a little over a week. I think it'll be good. So I do have the long lens on today. I could see that I could see the reason for having like this shot here. Probably be nicer with a wider angle. Yet still those shots in the distance are nice with the long lens. So I can certainly see why people pick up like the 24 to 300 lens.
Now, is Army a developmental milestone? Like, do you want to go to one of Army?
I think this weekend I'll walk over to the Met. I don't think I'll go in the Met. The Metropolitan Museum of art. Yeah, I don't think I'll go in the Met, but there is an exhibition about Iran, and it was like the 1930s. I think a team of Met excavators went to the northeast of Iran and pulled out some artifacts from centuries prior. It's kind of a neat story where that city geographically lays, and certainly with Iran, sadly, in the news. Kind of a nice topic. I like to do those, find what's current in the news today and see how that ties to New York City. Yeah, looks like the running groups are starting to come out again.
And another one, they're running photos. Give screens everywhere. While running.
Seems to be a very busy part of the running day. Yeah, you can feel the humidity every now and then, just a wave of it. Also nice to know that you're not going to slip around a corner. Oof. It was wind chills a while ago, just a few weeks ago. And this morning it's like tiny little humidity waves. Imagine these trees are going to start getting filled in pretty soon, which would be cool, coming out of the trees and seeing this view. That looks kind of cool. This week, actually the past 2 weeks, I've been thinking a lot about alignment. I read this report from MIT that something like 95% of Gen AI projects within organizations are considered a failure. I kind of just wonder, from an alignment standpoint, were they failed to begin with? Or were they not defined as an outcome, which creates failure?
The lights out.
So that research has been ringing in my head for a little bit. I do believe that alignment is one of the key considerations in organizations and teams, for lack of a better word, failing. I mean, you might make the argument that it's communications. I mean, I don't think I would disagree too heavily, although my argument would be, what are you communicating about? And if there isn't alignment between communicators, I don't really know if communication will help. which is a little darker out. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's a little hazy out this morning. It might actually burn off. I think our temps are supposed to dip back into the 30s like Sunday or Monday maybe. By the way, that's the Lincoln Center area down there, which we've got to get down to at some point. So I think from an alignment with my own self, so I've been working on this product called Alex. It's a decision governance framework. So the idea being that in line with alignment, some of these projects likely fail because it's tactical and operational before an actual alignment with different departments or CEOs. So Alex is built on my own history. Working across different roles, whether that's marketing, sales, operational, normally in a leadership position, and seeing that firsthand where teams go off and start a project. However, even starting with the decision, they're not in alignment. So Alex takes those, what I would call scenarios, and breaks them down into 7 distinct decision criteria. And it's structured in the sense that each criteria needs to be determined before we get to the next. At the end of those 7 steps, there's an executive overview and an execution table. And the goal there is a couple things. One is to accelerate the individual contributor's leadership role within an organization. Another is to create some consistency around decision making across an organization.
Yeah.
And creating that decision consistency allows projects to start faster, to communicate better, and ultimately to create some alignment between teams and different departments. And ultimately that makes projects move faster, right? Revenue to be recognized earlier, just decisions to be made faster and more complete. So back to the alignment with Alex. So I was ready to do some public messaging about 2 weeks ago, a little less than 2 weeks ago. And because Alex is built on or in ChatGPT, free versions, paid versions, and there was, kind of this hoopla around Anthropic and the Department of Defense with some contracts and agreements that went south. And then OpenAI quickly announced that they had made an agreement with the Department of Defense for mass surveillance and some other things. Those were the topics that Anthropic wasn't comfortable. Now, whether that's in Anthropic's right to dictate how people use their technology might be a little scary. However, the Scrooginess of it all, my perspective, was OpenAI kind of coming in and taking advantage of that open contract and kind of boastfully announcing that they've come to an agreement. So ChatGPT, based on OpenAI and how I felt about that, I decided to port Alex from ChatGPT to Google Gemini. Sure, Google Gemini, I'm sure, has contracts with the Defense Department. However, I do believe with their coming integration with the Apple ecosystem, there'll be another layer of governance. So that's the alignment. Alex and Google Gemini. I don't think I know that the scenario list is not complete. I think I have 4 or 5 more coming. I think the challenge might be the tweaking of a plan as it's being created, which is still possible with Alex. However, from a governance and a structure standpoint, the decision that's being made, let's say there's a senior personnel change, we need to make an announcement. That decision has ramifications internally and externally within the organization, outside of the organization. So how do you create that decision to make sure that all the different key stakeholders are in alignment? That's what Alex does. He does not create the content. Yeah, I think a wide angle would be good there. Let's look. Light is nice today. So Alex is available. Alex is on Google Gemini. Scenarios are already built out. I'm building some content for, like how-tos. However, if you are interested in learning more, hialex.cc, you can read all about it.